Hey everyone, the Balsamiq MCP server is finally ready to move out from development into testing. In this video, I will walk you through the steps to connect Balsamiq Cloud to AI agents like Claude and ChatGPT. So let's dive in.
We start with ChatGPT. We can navigate to the settings menu and then into the app section. Then we need to enable the developer mode to add an app that's not yet published on the store. And finally, we can go to create new app. We can now add the name and the address of the MCP server. And finally, hit create. The next step is a redirect to our authorization page, where the user can grant ChatGPT access to its Balsamiq projects. The user authorizes the access and then is redirected to ChatGPT, that's now connected to Balsamiq. We can go back to the chat and let's test if it works. Now we can try with a simple request for creating a landing page. We can use this simple draft that I created using Balsamiq AI. You can see here that ChatGPT is using our MCP server and then it starts to spit out the code of the landing page. Sometimes we need to be explicit about what we expect. And finally we get our landing page. Let's try to open it. And it's a good starting point, but it's not perfect, so we can make some adjustment to our wireframe and then ask for an update. Let's say we change the CTA button text. Okay, the text was correctly updated, but meanwhile I also noticed that the button should be centered. So let me ask for an adjustment. Perfect! As you can see, it works pretty well, considering that ChatGPT is definitely not the most advanced tool for this kind of work.
If we need to do some serious work, OpenAI offers a better tool that's also part of every ChatGPT plan. It's called the Codex application.
You can download Codex from the ChatGPT website. I've downloaded the Mac application, so let me start it. And now we proceed to connect it with Balsamiq. The process is pretty similar. We go to Settings and to the MCP Server tab. And then we click on Add Server. And we fill the name and address just like we did before. The main difference here is that for authentication we have to follow a different process that you can find in the docs. We basically have to run this command in the terminal and then the process continues as usual. So let me run it. We authorize and done. We are up and running. Now it's time for some serious work. First, Codex works on our local computer, so we need to select a folder that will contain everything that we create. And now we are ready to start a new conversation. But before, let me show what we are working on. This is a workout timer application that I've designed for myself to finally get rid of the one that I'm currently using. That's a bit too much annoying with the ads. So let me ask Codex to create a prototype of the whole application using React and Tailwind CSS. Here you can see that Codex is fetching everything it needs from the Balsamiq board. And then it comes up with a plan for building the application. It took a while, but basically it has done the same developer things that I would have done to create the application. And here we are. It basically gave us a command to run and to try out the prototype it has built. Okay, so let me grab the link and put it here, right next to the wireframes. Not bad. The app seems completely functional and pretty similar to the wireframes, but clearly we need to make some adjustments. So, okay, first of all, let me ask to fix the layout because I want to have it full screen on my iPhone. Okay, so now let's make some changes. There are things that the wireframes cannot capture clearly, so I'd like to leave a couple of notes to make them clear. First, I want the reset button to be disabled while the timer is running to avoid accidental press. And then I want the time selection to work like the iOS time picker. By scrolling the values, it's way more immediate to use. So let's see what Codex thinks. Okay, it read my notes and is asking me if I want to update the prototype. I think we can say yes. Okay, so the time picker works. And even the reset button. Let me just fix the button's alignment and then we can move on. Done. As the last step, I'm adding a new setting screens for my app. It opens by clicking on this top right icon and it contains settings for dark mode, notification and a color picker for the accent color of the UI. So let's tell Codex about our changes and to make a plan for integrating them in our prototype. It's asking if you are ready to proceed, and we are. It's time to test the final result. And the timers, the settings, everything looks fine, except maybe for the knob in the toggle buttons. It's a bit off. Let me grab a screenshot, it should be an easy fix for Codex.
And now we leave OpenAI world to step into the Anthropic realm with their cloud offerings.
To connect Claude to Balsamiq, we go to Settings, Connectors, and then we click on Add Custom Connector. Here we can insert the name and the address of the MCP server that we have seen before. Then we click on Add, and the authorization process is exactly the same. We click on Connect, and after granting the authorization, we are redirected back to Claude and ready to go. Let's do the usual test. And now we can continue with a new task. Here I created a wireframe of a simple user flow for exporting a document and I'd like to test it out. So let's ask Claude. It's now reading the wireframe and deciding to use its front-end design skill to build the prototype. And here is the final result. So, just an example of what you can create in the chat of Claude. But there is another powerful tool that you can use.
The tool is called CoWork, and it's right here in Claude Desktop.
You can access CoWork by clicking here on the top. We can then select a folder on our local computer, just like we did with Codex. And then we can start a session. This time I wireframe the flashcard application. The flow is pretty simple. There's a main screen from where you can open the settings and add new cards, and then you can start a session. So let's ask Claude to create the app. And here is the result. There is a setting screen, it looks okay, the dark mode. and everything works fine. So let's start the session and see if it works well. Okay, perfect. So one last try. Let's try to add a new word, and it's there. Okay, and now we move on to add a new screen. Just like all the flashcard applications, we need a report at the end of the session so that we can see how well we did. We can now ask Claude to fetch the updates to the wireframe and make a plan for integrating the changes in our application. And now we do one last round of tests. It's really cool to see that Claude added something that I totally forgot, the missed and got it buttons to report if we guessed the card or not. And here it is, the new screen that we added to the wireframe.
So that's how you can connect and work with Balsamiq Cloud and AI agents today, whether you prefer Claude, ChatGPT, Codex, or one of the other tools available online supporting the MCP protocol. Try it out, let me know what you find, and share your feedback. I'll be happy to fix bugs and keep working to make it better. Thanks for watching.